Our group's social problem was PTSD in veterans and the effects of being hired in a workplace.
How difficult do you think it is for a person with PTSD to find employment?
Depends on like if they're homeless or not. I feel like if they're homeless, then it's probably harder.
The compensation work therapy was developed to assist individuals with severe mental illness obtain employment and permanent jobs in the competitive economy.
Compensation work therapy vocational specialists assist in identifying and obtaining positions based on individualized preferences and skills, and they provide ongoing support and vocational assistance.
First, they examine the relationship between the veteran's characteristics and competitive employment at discharge.
Second, they examine the relationships between competitive employment and the three primary outcome variables of interest in a single multivariate model. They survey things such as war zone, service area, and PTSD.
Lastly, they compared the measures of compensated work therapy participation with those who were and were not diagnosed with PTSD.
They choose their sample by two different criteria. First, selected only those who completed episodes of care.
Second criteria, that they were excluded those who served in eras earlier than Vietnam era because veterans were less likely to be engaged in competitive workforce.
94 of the participants were male.
And 48% of the men were African American, closely following behind were Caucasian males with 47.6%.
Individuals who were competitively employed were more likely to be younger as well and to have worked more days prior to admission to the compensation work therapy program.
At the entry of the program, 61.8% were homeless.
Despite all the help from the compensation work therapy program gave to these men, the logistics played a large role in the percentage of men still being homeless.
One of the largest reasons for these participants to not receive employment is PTSD.
Some of the symptoms of PTSD that make it hard to work would be a sense of foreshortened future where the individual may believe that normal life activities, such as a career, are not available to them.
Many who experience PTSD also have flashbacks and may find it difficult to explain to others what is happening to them or may not be functional during these random episodes.
Anger and irritability are also common symptoms of PTSD, which make socializing harder.
Their lack of mailing addresses, telephone numbers, or opportunities for grooming and hygiene were just some of the few resources they lacked for employment.
The compensation work therapy program also provided clothing, voicemail services, and other assistance that would be critical in the employment process.
Finally, once work compensation therapy was completed, only 30 to 36% of the participants actually were hired for employment.
How many military veterans do you think are homeless?
Over 50%.
Traumatic stressors expose and post-traumatic symptoms in homeless veterans. For many years, there have been a lot of attempts to end homelessness among veterans. As a result, the number has reduced by approximately 17.9%. And current statistics of ANIS's veterans comprise 7% of the vagrant, while the Department of Housing and Urban Development quotas the number to be approximately 13%. Most of the destitute veterans have mental disorders due to the expressors to combat experience. The encounters that soldiers incur during war tend to predispose them to post-traumatic stress disorders. The study aim was to explain possible risk for PTSD and vagrancy in veterans by researching on trauma experience and response and archival information 115 troopers. The study evaluated the degree of the exposure to combat and a range of non-combat high magnitude stressors and percent post-traumatic distressor PPD occurrence and indicator of PTSD.
Researchers have come a long way in evaluating and treating PTSD among veterans. Due to stressors that persist after a veteran has been diagnosed with PTSD, social interactions and substance abuse are major problems. These issues can affect a veteran's ability to adjust to civilian life, such as having jobs. However, researchers are finding a wide range of treatment options to reduce homelessness. In conclusion, This is a major step in combating and ending homelessness, which affects approximately 17% of veterans.
Do you think civilian stressors can trigger PTSD?
Yes, I do, because there's things like fireworks or helicopters that go by, and the fireworks can sound like gunshots, and it can trigger like a little episode.
What was the main idea or focus of the author of this article, and how does it relate to new findings in the social problem, PTSD?
The author believes the study could be essential in helping identify the potential risk factors of those at risk for developing PTSD. This will go far in helping to find a tailored treatment plan for these individuals.
How did the researchers conduct the study? What were they looking for in the participants? And why were the 115 homeless veterans a good place to start?
The researchers offered 115 homeless veterans $10 to participate. Each individual was assessed for their rates of exposure to a variety of high-magnitude stressors, both civilian and military. The overall persistent post-traumatic distress, PPD, from these events and stressors was then assessed. The 115 homeless vets provided a solid data pool. 45% of homeless vets have a mental illness. Of the veterans surveyed, 98% had severe civilian trauma and 53% reported military trauma. Outside of their military careers, the researchers found that many of these vets had PPD from their personal adult. 82% reported interpersonal violence and childhood lives. 62% reported interpersonal violence during their childhood.
How does the information from the study help in finding a solution for the social problem and treating PTSD?
The information gathered can assist in understanding the risk factors of PTSD in homeless vets. The data can be used to link different trauma types and stressors to particular rates of existence of PTSD symptoms in those affected. Surprisingly, the existence of adult and childhood civilian stressors were much more prominent than military stressors. Rates of homelessness have dropped 17.9%, which points to modern treatment options being much more effective.
Do you think PTSD is something that you can overcome?
Yes, through therapy and support groups and family and stuff like that.
There are many solutions to post-traumatic stress disorder. One of them is accelerated resolution therapy. There was a study conducted at the College of Nursing at the University of South Florida. The vets that participated in the study were living at the Homeless Emergency Project in Clearwater, Florida.
Participants must have been a U.S. service member or veteran with prior deployments in major conflict zones, or experienced military sexual trauma. People who were homicidal, suicidal, people with brain injuries, or people undergoing substance abuse treatment were excluded from the study.
Accelerated resolution therapy is a psychotherapy a lot like A-level trauma-focused psychotherapies. It deals with image exposure, cognitive restructuring, and relaxation and stress modulations. The treatment is delivered in just 1 to 5 treatment sessions and without homework. It has indicated good evidence with the treatment of symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder in the adult civilization and military populations on an average of less than 4 treatment sessions.
Veterans were asked to recall traumatic memories and focus on the physiological sensations, thoughts, and emotions after they identify and diminish the emergence of any uncomfortable emotional or somatic symptoms.
In an effort to rescript the memories embedded in the traumatic images, a new positive way of viewing the memories is produced. This is done with the use of hypnotism to fully address what is contributing to the post-traumatic stress disorder symptomology.
The treatment sessions were approximately 1 hour and considered complete when the veterans experienced the memory without bad flashbacks or not being able to recall the trauma at all. They were held in a private room and only one vet at a time. During the study, all clinicians completed an intervention fidelity checklist after each treatment sessions, documenting adherence in the delivery of the standard accelerated resolution therapy protocol.
140 veterans were enrolled and 117 have been diagnosed with some type of post-traumatic stress disorder, but only 89 participants completed the accelerated resolution therapy treatment. Although the treatment was found to be successful, making sure participants follow through with the treatments is still an issue, even after being promised $50 at completion of the treatment.